Hey everyone, today we're talking to Coach Don Kelly of the Pittsburgh Pirates as a part of our Engaging Men campaign. PCADV's Engaging Men campaign recognizes men as allies and demonstrates how they can participate in preventing domestic violence in their communities.
So healthy masculinity looks different in different communities based on the community's experiences. And so we recognize that the discussion today will be primarily from one of those perspectives. As we continue this work, we're going to explore all of the experiences of masculinity, including the experiences of masculinity of those who experience racism, homophobia, transphobia, and other forms of oppression.
So, Coach Kelly, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started with some questions. Thanks again for joining us.
Awesome. Great to be here. It means a lot. As we've seen over the past few years, the way that MLB has come around and to really be able to give back in that way and really be a leader at the forefront of affecting change. And I think that all of us, as we look to be those vehicles to affect change, as an employee of an organization that is at the forefront and leading in that realm, it means a lot to me. And it's a great story. I get chills thinking about it because I wouldn't be married to the great woman that I am had my father-in-law got on the plane. If Roberto would have let him get on and go with him, and just the way that the story unfolded and how on Roberto Clemente Day, Neil hit his 21st home run over the Clemente wall. I think it was back in 2013. It's just amazing how the whole story has come about, and it's carried on through Tom and Neil and myself as well. Just the looking for opportunities to give back and carrying on that charitable spirit of, I think it's alive and well here in Pittsburgh, through the Pirates and through the organization and through the community. It's such a tight knit community, and everyone pulls together and really looks to giving back in any way they can. Just through, Joel Gray and the Pirates, community relations, everyone that works, they really get out in the community, try to, through Light of Life, the food bank, different avenues throughout the holidays to give back. And I think that, in looking for those opportunities within the Pirates and also without, my wife and I are involved in a lot of different charitable endeavors, on our own. And it's just ways to really give back and try to find ways to make a difference in the community. Oh, I think it's really important. It's something that, I think as we all learn, there's ways you learn in different ways. I know that I have in my life, and there's ways to learn from good, positive role models. And you just hope that people can learn from the negative as well and break cycles. But we know that that's not always going to be the case, and being able to recognize that something's not right. And when you see it over and over again, and sometimes that happens, you happen to fall into that trap. So to be able to get out and talk about hopefully the right way to do things and really affect change in that way. You hope to reach some people that might have gotten caught up in some situations when they were younger that affects the way that they maybe think or things that they do now, and to hopefully be able to impact that before it takes hold and becomes a domestic violence issue down the road. I think one thing is to emulate that, to show that to the kids that they coach, whether it's little league, high school, and live it out and really show them what it means to be that kind of mentor. And also, I think that it's something that, to be aware of potential situations, to get to know your kids and know how they react to certain things, and to maybe notice when something is off and be able to step in a situation and maybe help somebody. think that as you go through it, they're in the relationship between the athlete and the coaches, whether they're your athletes, whether they're your kids, they're always watching, and we can tell them so many things and how to do something and how to react and how to treat somebody in relationships and coaching and baseball and life. But your kids, your athletes, everyone's always watching. So the way that you interact with other people maybe impacts them more than even the way that you interact with them, and how they see you handle different situations, and how my kids see me interact with my wife and with my parents and with other people, and how I talk on the phone. There's so many times that my kids will be in the back seat and I might be on the phone and they hear every single word, and how athletes are no different when you talk to them, or you talk to a teammate, or you talk to another coach. How we emulate those relationships goes a long way in bridging that gap. Getting out, I know I was blessed to have the opportunity with Joel and others in the Pirates organization to during the first lockdown in March and April, to go to Light of Life and to participate in some food bank stuff, like to be able to get out and show that it is important. It is important, especially in times like this where, a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people have been affected by the virus, whether the virus itself or a job or a loved one that has been sick, and to be able to get out there and show that those relationships are important and the community is really important. And I think that it has been a shift. And I think that the one thing that I've noticed from being a player to now being a coach, and the evolution is the ability of teammates and coaches to be able to have those conversations. I think in the past has kind of been the elephant in the room of, that something's going on, and I can never fully understand what that's like to be on the side of racism or on the side of that type of stuff. But to sit there and be able to talk to a teammate or an athlete, or just to be able to have that conversation and try to create awareness around it, I think is something that has really evolved over the last, few years, especially last year going through it. The conversations that took place amongst teammates were tremendous. I mean, some of the conversations I was blessed to have last year were so impactful and in my learning and growth. And I think that as we work through that with each other and try to, something that my mom always used to tell me is try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. And I think the more that we can do that going forward, the more change that we can make. Yeah, well, you know what? Everybody is uniquely made, and we can't put people into a box. I mean, my wife throws really well. So like you never know how you can't affect somebody like that and bring them down. And I think that, by putting people in boxes and everyone, you're putting them down by saying that, and you never know how somebody's going to feel or take a comment like that. So just to really treat everybody with respect and try to lift everybody up and not to demean anybody in any way, I think is really important as we work through things like this, and really understanding how the things that we say affect people, and really like I said before, putting ourselves in their shoes and trying to help them, lift them up, encourage them, and not demean or bring people down. And I think that there's been some change in that as well. And I think that people are becoming more aware in the clubhouse of how things that are said affect people, and really being mindful of that, mindful of what you're saying and how it might affect somebody. And I think that it has gotten better. It has gotten a lot better. And I think that as we continue to look at from a global aspect of how those types of sayings and those things affect people, how we can affect that change. And really, when you hear something like that, just to bring it up to somebody. And I think if you call attention to it and it continues to happen, that's when there's a big problem. but just to really step out and say something to somebody whenever you do hear something that's not right. I've heard that those ladies are awesome and great coaches. And I heard that there's others throughout the industry too. I know that I don't know the name, but the lady from Boston Red Sox just got hired, and Kim Ng with Miami. I mean, the change that's taking place is great. And how we look at, everyone has different ideas and different ways of looking at things. And I think that the background that these ladies having coaching and softball and playing themselves and competing, they bring a great understanding of where they've been and what they can do and how they can affect the players and help the players become better players. And I think that as players are open to it. They want somebody that's going to help them and care about them, be the best player that they can be. And I think the more that we can have the change happen with Kim and with the ladies that are getting these positions, it's awesome, and I think that, looking at it, it has become, it's better for the game to have different ideas and different ways of looking at things, and how, it's calling attention to how everyone acts, and it has really affected the clubhouse in a positive way.